Likewise. Okay, great. So this is
Okay.
a demo of the first part of the core transformation process. And the nice thing about this process is that you don't need to share really anything about the situation that you're working with. And it's just a gentle process for dissolving stress and accessing well-being. So the way we start this process is Dinesh, I'm just going to ask you, what feeling, behavior, or thought would you like to change? Do you have some feeling, behavior, or thought
Yeah. Uh,
recently?
w- well, I lost my aunt yesterday, and there is a kind of feeling of sadness about that. And maybe
Okay,
that is
so
something I'd
feeling,
like to attend to. Yeah, it's kind of here.
okay, feeling of sadness.
Hmm.
Wonderful. So take a moment to just begin to close your eyes and just notice this feeling of sadness. And since you didn't consciously decide to be sad, we know that we can talk about this as some part of you generated this experience of sadness just automatically. So I invite you to just notice in this moment now as you're experiencing this sadness to sense in your body or around you, where do you sense this part of you?
It's kind of right here in my throat. Yeah.
Okay, right. So take a moment to just begin by thanking this part for being here, because you can trust that it has something really positive it wants,
Mhm.
generating this sadness. And just nod once you've thanked this part, and ask this part, once you've thanked this part for being here, ask this part, what do you want? And just notice the first response that comes back from this part of yourself.
Support.
Support. Wonderful. So thank this part for this response of support. And invite it to stop or breathe into what it's like to already have support the way it wants, fully and completely.
Yeah.
Right. And ask this part, when you have support fully the way you want, what is it you want through having support that's even deeper still?
Presence.
Presence. Right.
Yeah.
And so thank this part of you for this response of presence. And invite this part of you to stop or breathe into what it's like to already have presence fully and completely.
Yeah.
Right. And ask this part, when you have presence, what is it you want through having presence that's even deeper still, even more core?
Love.
Wonderful love. So thank this part of you for this response of love. Yeah, and invite this part of you to stop or breathe into what it's like to have love the way it wants. Hey, and ask this part, when you have love already, what is it you want through having love that's even deeper still?
Oneness.
Hey, thank you for this response of oneness, and invite this part of you to stop, breathe into oneness. Yeah, wonderful. Ask this part of you, when you have oneness already, is there anything you want through having oneness that's even deeper still?
Bliss.
Blessed, wonderful. So thank this part for this response and invite this part of you to stop or breathe into what it's like to already have bliss fully, completely. And ask this part, when you have bliss, is there anything you want through bliss that's even deeper still?
No, doesn't seem to be.
Okay, so thank this part of you for letting you know this, and you can just bask in this experience of bliss. And as it does, you can just ask this part, this bliss, is this a state of being that's possible to experience regardless of what happens or doesn't happen?
Yeah, it seems kind of from inside.
Okay, beautiful. And so this experience of bliss from inside, ask this part, is this possible to have regardless of what happens in the real world? Okay, wonderful. So this is how we know that this is the core state for this part of you, meaning the
Yeah.
deepest thing that this part wants. And so we have some really good news for this part of you. It's that often our parts think that they need to first do certain things or get certain things before they can experience these deep states of being that we refer to as core states. And the good news is for this part of you is that it can just step in and have this, that nothing else actually needs to happen first. And so you can ask this part of you, when you already have bliss as a way of being, what is already having bliss make things different in general?
Things kind of lighten up everything.
Hmm. Hmm. So you can invite this part of you to breathe in this experience. And you can also ask this part, when you have bliss already as a way of being, what is already having bliss radiate through, enrich, or transform this whole area of oneness that's also important, this part?
I don't know, it gets a lot filled with kind of like joyful, very joyful.
Wonderful. And you can also ask this part, when you already have bliss as a way of being, how does already having bliss in an ongoing way radiate through, enrich, transform, love?
Yeah, the love also kind of becomes very deep.
Mm.
Yeah.
And breathing in this experience, you can also ask this part of you, when you already have bliss as a way of being, what is already having this radiate through, enrich, transform, presence?
It's like presence becomes part of everything. Everything is part of
Wonderful.
presence.
Wonderful. And you can also ask this part, when you have bliss as a way of being, what is already having bliss radiate through, enrich, transform this whole area that lies wanting support?
Doesn't seem so important at all.
Oh, interesting. So you can invite this part of you to breathe in this experience. And ask this part, how does already having bliss as a way of being radiate through, enrich, transform this experience right now in this moment? When you think about your aunt and her passing.
Very, very almost palpable sense of her presence. Yeah.
And so you can just notice as this part of you enjoys this experience, or just experiences this presence. You can just invite this into any other situations, noticing how already having bliss as a way of being radiates through, enriches, transforms any situation in the past in which you used to have the old response. Just noticing what's naturally present now. And you can also invite this into future situations, looking forward to how having bliss already as a way of being naturally will radiate through, enrich, and transform future situations. And noticing what new behaviors, responses are naturally available to you as expressions of bliss as a way of being.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of light filling the future. Yeah.
Yeah. Take as much time as you like to enjoy this or just experience this. And for those of you watching this demonstration, this is phases 1 and 2 of the process. And there's even more, but this is a lot of it, of the core transformation process. Great.
So thanks, Mark.
You're
Thank
so
you.
welcome.
Right. Great. I hope those who see
Okay, I
this
just
will
stopped.
get a sense
Oh,
of the video of
yeah, I think so. I
process.
just stopped my recording.